Well, this is a hard decision today. Hello, welcome to the channel. On my vlog today, I had planned to have a GoPro in my studio here, where I do the Vobes Show, or used to do the Vobes Show. Because the idea was to deconstruct the studio. I had some ideas to do different things in this space, build a different studio. But, hang on, let me just change to the other camera. Here we go. I designed this studio, I think it went live on May the 21st upstairs in my house. I'm upstairs in my house, my terrace, 2 up, 2 down. And I built this studio. And before that, it was in the back room. And I had this concept that I just felt that the Vobes Show, I wasn't going to get round to it again. And I thought, well, I could use the space for different things. As a live studio, you need a lot of space. You need all the lights, you need the computers and stuff. Let me show you what we've got here. As I'm trying to make this decision, I don't know if I can make the decision. That's the trouble. I love this. I mean, I do love the studio. I love the memories that the studio's given me. And I did a recording on The Naked Englishman this morning, my podcast, saying, oh yeah, I'm going to strip this down. I don't need it and what have you. But now I'm actually sitting here looking at the gear, looking at I mean, it's all quite, nerdy and a bit basic. It's a bit Heath Robinson, this side of it. I'll show you in a second. And then what to do with all the stuff that people have sent in. It is quite busy. The reason it looks a little different is I've opened up the curtains. So you've got daylight in the studio, which normally you wouldn't. And I've also got the other lights on. I'll show you. If I switch to my webcam. Here we go. So this is what the studio looks like to me. Oops. So this is just switching. Now, I'm not at the microphone, so I may sound a bit distant. So that's there you can get to see a bit of me. There's my cup of coffee, the most important thing, and there's the computer. There's the window, and all of this, and let's show you around the studio space. This is just on a webcam, so it doesn't look as good, and I'm hand holding it, as you can tell. And there's lots of stuff, things that people have bought for me, like that from Ron and Elaine, which was very kind. Things that I've had for Yonks, my old Revox. Nigel Sadler bought us the little camper van there, and Cheryl Cragg made the 2 little crochet chaps. There's my Vobes Show sign and the ferret that was sent in, and all sorts of bits and pieces in the background here. My Bald Explorer neon sign, the various Happy New Year, look at that. So lots of different things that we've had in the studio all this time. And the idea was to break this down and, as I say, utilize the space. And that's what I was going to do this morning. That's exactly what I was going to do. Because I felt I felt that I no longer had reason to do a sit-down presenting show. I think I've just, maybe it's the cold that I've had recently. I just felt I was a bit bored at looking at my own face and hearing my own voice and not being clever enough or witty enough to talk about the things of the day or the things that people want me to talk, or what I would like to talk about. And I don't know whether people want me to talk about my thoughts, opinions and things in a show. And yet there's still something in me that wants to do that, to do not a current affairs, but sort of current affairs, to comment on things, to do comedy, to be silly, to be wacky, to be fun. and I'm on that sort of, am I done with this? Am I done with it? I used to do a podcast, the Vobes Show. It started as the Richard Vobes radio show, and then it became the Vobes Show. Started in 2005. And it's been so much of my life, and then the Vobes Show, and then we did the live streaming show from here and downstairs as well, and the cooking shows. And I don't know that am I in my panic to find something to keep the channel going? Am I throwing the baby out with the dishwater? Something I often think about in terms of what we've done in the past. Should I get rid of this set, or should I look like I'm slightly overexposed there? Does that look overexposed? Hang on a minute. It's because I got the you see, normally I'd be much more professional. This is a sort of vlog, so it's behind the scenes, isn't it? Let's just, if I do this, hang on. There we go, look. I'm just looking on this monitor here to see. I think my main camera is a little overexposed, so I'm just going to go over to that camera, bear with me, and just turn the aperture down a bit. Trouble is, I can't tell. Can't tell if is that better? That looks a bit better. That looks much better. So shove that back there. Even though this is a sort of behind the scenes vlog, I wanted it to look reasonable. I'm still suffering from this wretched cold as well, so that's a pain. So I'm in a quandary, ladies and gentlemen. I'm in a quandary. This is what I was planning to do, strip this down. But to be honest, I haven't got enough boxes to put all the necessary paraphernalia in, and it's all just going to end up on the floor. And my question is, have I really done with the show? Maybe I'm not yet finished with it. I was chatting to the lovely Julia. She might be a bit upset if I say, oh, I'm keeping it. This stuff, the background can be changed. The desk on which this sits can be changed. All of this, I mean, it can all be moved. Of course it can. And it can all be rewired. But it's just great. You see, one of the advantages of this is it's all set up. You just turn it on and you go. You record it. Record straight to my computer. There's no faffing about with SD cards and things like that. And then I would normally go over to my edit machine, which is over on this side of the room. Hang on. There. So that's where I normally sit and edit my videos, over there. In the same room. So that's the other side of the room. Over there. Now, the thing is, this is quite unique, isn't it? I mean, not everybody does this. This is a very YouTube-y thing. And I can't quite work out what to do. So it's a pain. Because it's a nice space. It's the master bedroom of my 2 up, 2 down house. Unfortunately, the walls are a bit crumbly. The house was built in 1885. So it's quite old. And we've had problems at the front above the bay windows where water's come in. I mean, they're all of them along here have the same issues. And one of the problems there is that because of that, the plaster just keeps crumbling down. And I've got dreadful issues with it. Look, I can show you. Luckily, this is on a reasonably long lead. Let's have a look and see if you can see down here. There you go, look. Dreadful issues with the plaster there and up over there. It's all just coming off. And then you've got the problem of the window. If you were, because I had this idea of building two sets, one over that side and one over this side, and then swiveling the camera, and you could get two sets, and then maybe mounting all the lights in the ceiling. That's what I was originally going to do, instead of having them all around on stands, because they're on stands at the moment. You know, these great thundering stands are in the way all the time. And down here, look at all that lot. The spaghetti junction of the studio. But it works, you know, it works. And when it's all lit up, it all looks very nice. And you don't normally see all that. And you don't see all the dust and muck that's on the floor that I, you know, often have to sweep up, because it comes in through the window from the busy road. There's all the dust that comes in off the plaster. And then, you know, I burn logs at home, as you know. So, but the question is, am I done with the studio and the setup that I've got at the moment? And I don't know that I am. That is the thing. Maybe this can change. Maybe this needs to stay. And it's this bit that changes, that I just redress it. I think the thing to do is not to strike this. I'm thinking about this aloud. I hope this isn't too dull and boring. And actually, maybe I change the backdrop. I mean, I could push all this lot back without too much effort. I think I need to think about this a lot more, because it's clearly... I'm clearly not ready to get shot of it. And I like the studio, you know, I like operating. When I used to do the Vobes Show as an audio podcast, I had 3 computers and 3 screens around me. And it was fantastic, because one would record the audio, so the one would master everything. One was an internet thing, where I would go around and search for the internet and find bits and pieces. And another one had some automated radio software with 3 decks on it. So it had 3 stereo channels, so 6 channels of sound in total. It might have had 8, actually, because I think there were 3 decks and then jingles. And you could program stuff up, but you could also do things live. And I was playing these 3. I had 1 keyboard and 1 mouse that would go across each computer by some software which would identify it. Very clever. Can't remember, you know, it was some time ago now I did all this, so it was a very clever thing. And away I would go, and I would play it like an organ, in a way. And it was fantastic. And so I love this. I love the ability just to come in here and chinwag and have a chat and do things and all of that. And I don't know whether this is the right thing to do or not. I don't know whether people enjoyed the Vobes Show. I don't really know, you know, can I be funny? I at the moment, there's a bit of soul searching with me. And I'm trying to work myself out. You know, my problem is that my mother, and I know I use this as an excuse, but it's true. My mother told me I'd never be anything. I was a squit, and I would never amount to anything. Now, I know there's plenty of people out there, because as soon as you put your head above the parapet, there are people out there ready to take a pop at you, because they just got nothing else better to do. They love to take a pop at you because they disagree with you, they don't like you, they may never have met me, or they may have met me, they just disagree with my politics or my outlook in life, my thought processes, or the fact that, you know, here's somebody who's vulnerable, we'll have a go at him just because we can and because we are that type of person. So we discount those people, of course, discount those people. Hang on, I need a slur. I still got this throat thing. And so I don't know. I'm still trying to sort of get it into my head. I used to have loads of confidence, but I think when I was doing the podcast, you didn't get the same level of abuse that you get when you get with YouTube. And I think that's quite surprised me. And I think a lot of YouTubers will talk about that, or they'll keep that secret. But you do get it. You get the needling. So I'm a bit unsure. Oh, by the way, thank you very much for those people who sent me emails. That's very kind of you. And anybody who's done a super chat, thank you very much for those. So I know if I turn the comments off, you can't give me super chats. So I appreciate that it's a difficult thing. So anyway, so that's where I am. I'm quandering. So I probably won't get this stripped down today. The sun is coming out now. I need to put the curtains back up there because when the sun comes out, it overexposed. Look at this, overexposed again. But before I go, you may remember I was talking about my lens. This is the lens here. Let's get a close-up of it whilst we can. Oh, just turned the wrong thing on. There we are. So this is the lens. It's a beautiful lens. I haven't actually looked at what they are brand new. Second hand, you can get a decent one for about 700 or 800 quid. So they must be brand new, at least £1,000 or £1,200. It's a Sigma lens, and it's 18 to 35. It's a beautiful lens. It does a marvelous picture, but this bit has broken. This does actually pop off. I don't want to pop it off because I've got to post it shortly. So that's the lens, and very kindly, big thanks to Tony Stent, who is a friend, and he's very generously been in touch. He has a mate at Sigma, and he's very kindly said if you send the lens to them, they'll have a look at it for me. So I found a box. I just need to get some packing material, put the lens cap back on, and send that off to Sigma today. So that's another task to do this afternoon. So yeah, I'm very overexposed now, so apologies for that. It means getting up and going out. But I'll end this here. The comments are off, but if you want to email me, richard@vobes.com is the email address, and you're very welcome if you've got thoughts on the Vobes Show, the studio, and all of that. I welcome the emails because it takes a bit more effort for people to do that than just leave nasty comments. Anyway, there we go. That's it. Thank you for watching. Am I going to take the studio to bits? Watch this space.